where we have a guest monologist who will be introduced in a moment. They're going to share true life stories with you and with the cast. We'll be off on the side listening. And then when they're done, we're going to come up and we're going to use that story and the content of it to inspire the scenes that we're going to create after it. So it's not a reenactment. We're just taking inspiration from details in the story.
Right. And it's not just Gary and I doing this portion. Please put your hands together to welcome out the True Colors Armando cast. All right, well that's all the improvisers. So now we need to welcome our very special guest. He just completed a run of Candide at the Detroit Opera House, and he's a professional opera singer. Please put your hands together for Michael Day.
Hi everyone, I'm absolutely terrified to do this, so bear with me. They basically said, like, come up with a couple of stories that have some emotional significance to you. And anytime that I get emotional these days, I think about my dad. And that's because he unfortunately passed away about 1.5 years ago, but he was like one of my favorite people in the whole world, and we had a really, really great relationship. So I just want to tell you a few stories about us. So my dad and I were very, very similar in a couple different ways. We kind of had the same sense of humor. I thought my dad was the funniest person in the world, and like all of my siblings have described my sense of humor as like a knockoff version of my dad's sense of humor. And we also like really understood each other intellectually. But we were also very, very different in a couple ways. My dad was a very, like, what I would describe as like a stereotypically masculine guy, and I am not that at all. And one of the ways that manifested itself and created some funny situations was through sports. My dad loved sports, all kinds of sports. He was a huge Chicago Cubs fan. He had like season tickets with like some of his friends and his brothers-in-law. And he loved college baseball a lot and loved college basketball. And he, in high school, he himself was a pretty good athlete. And also on my mom's side, there were some really good like athletes in the family. So I was my dad's first son, and I think that he really thought, like, when I was born, that he was going to get this, like, you know, little maverick, like, that was going to be really good at sports. And instead, he got, like, a chubby sissy. And so, like, I'm just going to tell you some of my dad's favorite stories that he loved to tell to illustrate what a bad athlete I was. The first one was, my parents put me in soccer when I was really, really young. And my dad, like, described seeing, like, all of the kids from both teams just like chasing the ball around the field like little kids do when they like play soccer, except for Michael, who was on the other side of the field picking dandelions and like waving to my mom. But I would like the record to show that I did score a goal that year, but the reason I scored the goal is because I had a penalty kick and the goalie was looking at an airplane when I kicked it. I also played baseball as a kid, and I was like truly horrific at baseball. But my dad, like, we would play catch in the backyard, and like as a way to like try to, you know, like encourage me to be better, he would say like, okay, like we can't go in for dinner until you like catch 10 balls in a row. And like every night it would get dark before I would do that, so like I was never successful. However, when I was in 5th grade, we moved out into the country, and we had these new neighbors, and they were the Martinsons. And the Martinsons had like 4 boys who were all around my age, a little older, and they were like tall, like blonde, athletic guys. And my dad was like so excited because, like, you know, finally he's gonna like have friends he can like play sports with. And like the 3rd day that we lived there, the Martinsons came and like knocked on our door, and they were like, hey, like we're gonna go play catch, like does Mike want to play with us? And my dad was like, yes, and like I was like, okay. And so my dad would like describe the scene of like watching from the window as like he's like, you know, the sun was shining, and like the Martinson boys were like running across the field like gazelles, like these truly athletic people, and like here comes Michael, and like he's trying his best, but it's like not really keeping up. And then there must have been like a divot or something that I didn't see. And so like my dad's like, yeah, and then I watch in slow motion as Michael like topples over himself, and like my glove goes flying in the air, and like all my dad's dreams of like me being an athlete are just like shattering in front of him. So all this to say, sports was a point of contention in my childhood between my dad and me. But what's really funny is that as an adult, I actually ended up loving like going to sporting events with my dad. It was like one of my favorite things to do. And it still is one of my favorite things to do, not because I like sports that much still at all, but like anytime that I like go to a baseball game, especially a Cubs game, I feel like I'm spending time with my dad. So.
I'm ready to play my new harpsichord. Will you unlock the keyboard for me so I can play it, Daddy?
Jonathan, what did you not do last night?
I didn't make 10 baskets on the basketball.
No, you did not. How many did you make, Jonathan?
None.
And what does that mean about the lock on your fancy piano?
When I grow up, I'm not going to be a basketball player. I'm going to be a harpsichord player at a church, and then in the summers I'm going to play harpsichord at basketball games.
Okay. First, Jonathan, you accomplished your first goal. You were not a basketball player. 2, playing piano at a church is not a career.
Here, you want me to play basketball today? Move right now in the house and I'll show you how good I am.
If you actually
Yeah.
play, you can play it. Oh, you knocked down your mother's vase.
Yup.
You don't have to play basketball to make me proud. What I would like is if you would make it almost to the basket when the neighbors are in the yard.
You're proud of me?
Well, I know you don't know this, but I turned the volume down on my football games. I watch the games and listen to you play on your little plunky keyboard thing. Your harps, the piano thing you play. It's got 2 levels. It seems pretty complicated. The keys are really hard to push down because I've tried to play it and I can't do it. Play me that favorite song you like to play. Play it nice and loud. Beat those keys, Jonathan.
Daddy,
Yes.
do you want to go try to throw the ball and maybe I'll catch it or something?
Yes, but that's a different sport, Jonathan.
I'm sporting.
You go first and then tell us how it is.
Well, I got the t-shirt that says Fishing Maven. That's the first thing is you've got to look the part. I read it on the internet.
Gotta get the gear.
Yeah.
Good year.
And I know you're supposed to just swing this and then reel this like this, and it is reel, not R-E-A-L, R-E-E-L. That's the verb.
Okay, write that down too. I had that wrong.
Yeah. So and no matter what they say, fishing is a sport. So
Patty, you're gonna make it into the cool kid club. We know it.
I think we all can do it. I just think
Oh,
they said.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
don't
so
think
sure
that
about
fits
us.
for us. I think you're the brave adventurer.
You're the cool one. That's
Yeah.
what we always say.
You think I'm just because I just thought that maybe looking the part and
I think that's a lot of it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you're so confident with
What?
that
This is-
reel.
Real.
Hey.
Real.
it's biting me. me. There's something that's like
Oh
pulling.
no! Give up! Give up!
Oh my
Oh!
God! Oh my God! No, it's heavy! It's like,
Oh my God, this neck! Oh my God, this neck!
Hit him again! Oh God, it's heavy! Daddy, kill it! Daddy!
I'm sorry that got caught in your mouth.
Daddy, you gotta finish it. You're the
Finish
cool
what you
one.
started.
The cool kids are gonna love it if you kill that animal.
I'm so sorry.
You've gotta take its life.
The Mortensons are eating good tonight! Sacrifice that you needed. Get to eat up, boys! I like how we're a lot alike.
Yo, you got that right.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's how I know this is supposed to happen.
How you know what's supposed to happen?
All the chemistry between us is speaking to me, Jordan. Obviously. Kismet.
Don't.
Okay. How long you guys been together?
Well, I just got here.
I was looking for a chair and this one was open. I sat in the chair.
We're the best couple in the school. Not you guys.
I actually hold the state record in track.
So that's pretty cool. I'm really good at I would say I'm a master debater.
That's what you should be bragging about.
My mom calls me that sometimes.
Are you on a debate team?
No.
Then how could you know how to master debate if you're not on the master debate team?
He's talking about his willy dough.
That's jock for my penis.
What?
Yo, he spanks that monkey.
Wait a minute. Is its name Willie and it's a monkey? Because you should have hit it.
No, that's what jocks call it sometimes, but really it's a penis, and you take your hand and
Oh my
grasp
gosh.
it.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you hold your scrotum and just,
What is this?
that's where your balls reside.
What the
I'm sorry, testicles.
You have tentacles on your scrotum?
No, tentacles is something completely different.
Tell that stupid girl what she should be doing for her boyfriend, yo.
Listen, you just grab the tip, they're gonna love it.
Marcus, I heard you were saying some. Take a seat, son. Heard you were saying some real. Sure. All right. Yeah. Let's. Guidance counseling. All right. So I heard that you were saying some things to some of the other kids.
Yeah, I talk to people. Sometimes about science, sometimes about track,
Sometimes about
math.
masturbating. Masturbating is this one. Yeah. Did you think I called you in here for math?
I don't know, I've never been called by a counselor. Usually I have to wait a few days before I can see you. How's my scholarship coming?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Oh.
So I just
Do you know what masturbating is? My mom calls me it sometimes.
that's kind of why I called you in.
I'm not allowed to have locks on my door. My mom has to check in everything, and she always checks me at the wrong time.
Why exactly is that?
She's a helicopter parent.
Okay, but we love those. So like the actual physical, how does it work? Because
Hey, bro, listen.
Are you gonna put me in a locker? I've got my biggest backpack.
No, but my girl and I wanted to know if you wanted to hang out with us without your girl. She said it wouldn't be gay. if we do it?
We hang out.
If I'm there, how could it be gay?
I'm not saying hang out like hang out and watch TV. I'm saying like say it.
Touch the tip.
Want me to masturbate you?
Yeah, but she's gonna be there, so
Yeah. I'll probably be crushing mad candy on my ass though, so. But when I'm there, it's not gay.
I just feel weird about this now. This is
No,
stupid.
it's okay.
I didn't want to ask him.
It's okay if you're a 3 or a 4 on the scale.
So he was talking about the Kinsey scale. If that's what you wanted to talk about.
I don't know what that stupid stuff is.
It's an important part of growing up. But also, there was a term you were using, touching the tip. Could you describe that better?
I
We
didn't
can
say.
both Google it if you need us to. So.
I know what it means. Don't you know what it means? You're supposed to be
Well,
the
no, I
vote.
totally know what it means. I know what it means. Let's just say it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, eating a Go-Gurt. Oh. What did you say?
I started saying something about my penis.
I said eating a Go-Gurt. So,
You tried to trick me.
no,
Yeah, you
we
did.
both know what it means. So, mine was a joke answer.
So, hi. What did we learn this week? I'm curious. I want to know more about how your week went. You learned about what it doesn't mean,
Yeah.
which is,
Listen, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I know I was supposed to find out and bring it home
You were
and then tell you.
I was
but
really hoping to know!
We'll get kids somehow.
God, I just
We'll figure it out. I can't Google it.
Do we or do we not need Go-Gurt this week?
I don't know. You wouldn't say. I don't know. Something about balls? I don't know.
I told you to infiltrate the high school and learn from the hoarding children how to have a baby!
They really clam up when I sit on the floor. I thought it would put us on the same level.
You're never on the same level! You're a grown man, Peter!
You infiltrate the school then.
I just wanted to talk to an adult, and so
Thank
that's
you.
why I
Me
signed
too.
up
So
today.
let's just let's get on the same level.
Okay, so my second story is also about my dad. I think I didn't really totally understand the assignment. Here we go again. As I was telling you, one of the interesting things about my relationship with my dad was how masculine he was and how not masculine I am. And another way that he was is that he did have a lot of feelings, but the way that he dealt with them was by he just didn't really show them to a lot of people except people who were really close to him. So it's funny because I remember my dad as being really goofy and kind of off the wall, but people who didn't know him very well, I had at least 5 separate people in my life compare him to Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec because he was just very dry and stoic, especially around people that he didn't know very well. So you would think that someone like that wouldn't necessarily be supportive of having a son who, 1, pursued a career in the performing arts, and 2, is openly gay. But actually my dad ended up being my biggest fan in both of those things. That sounds really weird to say. He was the biggest fan of my singing. He was actually the first person to encourage me to go to school for singing, which is kind of remarkable because he was a really practical person, so it wasn't really in his nature for me to get a singing degree. But also he would text me. So in opera we don't really have the phrase break a leg. We don't use that. So he would text me break a lung before all the performances, which is cute and funny. But he also, like I did a concert in my hometown a couple years ago, and like you would have thought that it was his full-time job to like advertise for this concert, because he like took out ads in like the newspaper to like tell people about this. It was a free concert. Like I don't really know like what he's, but he was just like, you know, like really proud of me in that respect. Coming out to my parents was pretty hard because for both of them it was like kind of a shock, which in hindsight like is a punchline in and of itself. But like they both come from really like conservative religious backgrounds. But the cool thing is that they ended up being super supportive. Like in 2015 when the Supreme Court decided that gay marriage was like officially legal in all 50 states. Everyone was putting that like rainbow filter on their profile picture, and I didn't even do that because I don't know, just like nervous about what people would think. But my dad like changed his profile picture to a picture of us and like put that filter on it, and like wrote a caption about like how proud he is to be my dad. Which like in itself is a nice gesture, but like if you think of like Ron Swanson doing something like that, like that's what it was to me. It was just so not like him to do something like that. So it meant a lot. And he just was like very outspoken in his support of me. I've been thinking a lot lately about how like my dad really is the person that taught me how to be a man, because he really like lived his life not for himself, but for the people that he loved, like for his kids and for his wife and for his parents and his friends. And that's something that, you know, I hope that I can take with me through my adult life. And in the same breath, I kind of like to think that I also showed my dad a lot about what it means to be a man. I mean, like, I'm so different from the person that he thought would be his son, and he had a choice to make about whether he was going to love me and support me, despite the fact that I was so different, and obviously he did. And so I think that I learned so much from my dad, and I also think that my dad learned a lot from me.
Here we go, puppies! There you go, puppies! That's it!
They're just cleaning the field right now.
I know, but those cleaners matter too, right? Here we go, cubbies! Yeah! How's that boy of yours?
Oh, he's good.
What did he end up being? Lawyer, engineer, what, some...
He's actually cleans at Northwestern. He's a janitor. So I like.
There's pride in that, that's what I say. He's pretty good, yeah!
That's why I stick around for this part too.
That matters!
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love our boys!
Yeah. What about?
You don't have to go like Robert. My boy!
I want to be respectful.
Yeah, he's a trapeze artist still. He's traveling. He's working it. He makes people happy. That's why I took down the house and we live in a big tent now. I wanted to feel at home. When he comes home, he's my boy.
I want you to know that when the neighborhood association was threatening you, I
You
said.
back me, Barbara. You back me.
I said it brings life to our boring street, so I appreciated it.
And you know what? Me and Bobby. Well, sorry. Robert. Always gonna be my Bobby, you know that. He likes to be Robert when he's in his professional leotard and all that. I still call him Bobby. I'm proud of him, you know.
I
I
mean,
want to show you how proud I am of him. Not very many people know this. I wear tights underneath my
Knock, am I allowed to be back here?
Yeah, come on.
There you
Hey.
are.
Hey, Dad, you're
Got
gonna
you.
bruise me.
Not here.
Knock my makeup off, Jesus.
Is that a thing? I don't know. Not
I
here.
think so.
Just want to come back to me and say good job.
Thanks.
It's not good luck. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a new one every week, Dad.
Gotcha. Hey, you need that nose on stage?
Dad,
You need it?
Dad?
You need it?
No, I don't need it.
Give this back to you if you have the best show in your life.
You know, you didn't have to pay for that billboard.
Shut up, yeah, it is. Hey, it's beautiful. Hey, that mortgage payment, next month, you know?
Yeah.
Had to show. There we go.
Yeah.
Jazz and
There I
lights.
was.
Glenn!
Baby pictures and all.
Baby
All
Glenn.
there, baby Glenn.
Oh, that's so
With
funny.
no explanation of where the show was.
Just baby
Baby
Glenn.
Glenn.
Oh, I got a lot of confused calls about it.
Put your number on there,
I
Dad.
put my number on it.
I told you not to just post your
Hey,
number.
I told everyone to come.
I know. You definitely did. And man, I'm sure the Summer in the Park series really appreciates your efforts.
You know it. Oh, you're gonna be the best. Oh, you're gonna be the best. Which one do you need this week? Which you need this week? What is it? Puck? What is it? What is it? Titus?
Oh my goodness, look at you two. Honey, I'm just so proud of her too. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh, you
geez.
got a little something?
Oh,
You got
yeah.
a little something? Oh.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Have you peed yet? Did you pee? Do you need to pee? We can hold the audience. You gotta pee?
Dad, you
What? Yeah,
you don't have the power to hold the whole.
No, you gotta go pee because you know what backstage
Oh, Grandpa!
It's on the billboard.
They saw the billboard. Baby Glenn, not the name of the performance.
I remember when you were that small.
Well, I just love you so much.
We're gonna ruffle like ruffles.
We're so proud of you. What are you doing anyway?
She's a backstage helper.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gonna get out there today?
yeah.
Take over a role?
I eventually am gonna have to sweep the stage. Yep, gonna
Take it
have
for
to.
an actor?
Oh my God.
So you throw a basket out there.
Thank you.
I kept your harpsichord.
Yeah, I remember this. God,
I took the lock off.
I wonder if it's still in tune.
I keep it in tune. I have a guy come out every week.
What? No, you don't.
I do.
Did you take lessons with me?
No.
Just roll
I
time?
just want to keep it pristine so, you know, no one can touch it. But you.
It's really touching. Yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. I don't even think I remember how to play.
What? What do you mean you don't know how to play?
I mean, I was really into it when I was a kid and everything, but I don't know. I could maybe if I fool around with it a little bit, but I'm not into it anymore.
Don't tell me I've spent the last 4 years of your college to disappoint you.
No, I'm really proud of Oh my God. You are brilliant. I'm mind blown. Pluck? Wow. Oh my God, that is amazing, Dad.
Jonathan, don't tell me I learned the harpsichord for nothing.
Dad, what do you mean nothing's ever for nothing? That's totally worth it. You're fantastic.
I learned this from you.
I'm impressed.
Do you know how many of my friends I brought over and played that for, and they just looked at me like really awkwardly?
Well, you don't have a lot of cultured friends.
Listen, when I play the Monday Night Football theme on this, you would think people would go fucking crazy.
Dad, I totally forgot that was one of my childhood dreams, was to play the harpsichord at games. I mean, that's so stupid, though. I mean, like, nobody's into the harpsichord.
Are you free Thursday at 7? My softball team is playing. We need someone to do the anthem.
You know what? I always used to dream that you would play a duet with me. Like, I would play the higher notes and you would play the lower notes.
Alright, I'll do the top row.
Stop telling people I'm the best at being gay.
I just want you to know how very open and supportive I feel of your alternative lifestyle.
Okay, well, let's put a button in that word. But you can't be the best at being gay.
Yes, you can.
No,
Not
no.
with that attitude, you can.
Yes, this isn't a self-esteem thing.
Well, maybe it should be.
No, you're either gay or you're not, or Kinsey scale, all that stuff. You don't have to tell people I'm the best at it.
But you can excel at anything you put your mind to. You thought you would not win that three-legged race in first grade field day, and who brought home the three-legged race trophy?
You and me.
Uh-huh,
That was
because we
weird.
put our minds to it.
Damn, I-
Nobody wanted to be a part of it, but I was going to show up and be a part of it. Why would I not support you? You know?
Don't think that I don't love you. But walking around saying that I am better at being gay than anyone. You emailed Neil Pat. Oh, this is a t-shirt! Come on!
My gay son's the best at being gay. What's the?
Dad, this is the place. Open up!
Let us in, we know you're in there.
Open the door!
Hi!
Well, well,
Look
well.
at the t-shirt. This is the place. Someone claims to be more gay than us.
It's not a who's more gay competition, it's who's just the best at being gay, and it's my son.
Well, you shouldn't have put up that billboard.
Well, I wanted everybody to know, and I'm proud, and that was a good investment.
Stand over here. Let's see. You don't have an ounce of sass in you.
Did you just do a minor foot slide?
I am not. I'm on your side. We're all gay, and that's great. Wait.
No.
I'm sorry. So you are saying you're better at being gay than I am?
We need something.
Oh.
Yeah. You hardly passed for being gay.
Whoa!
We live
What
our-
does that mean?
We don't know.
Okay,
That's why we came here.
okay. I think you all need to sit down. We need to have, a family meeting.
Is that your,
This is my dad.
is your dad?
Yeah.
He has a dad.
Ooh.
Come
Yeah.
on,
I
family
mean, we
meeting.
have dads, but they don't.
They left us. They left our families when we were young.
I mean,
Real gay people don't grow up with dads.
Okay.
well, I was
Okay.
19 and then he left. But
So not a kid. Listen, I don't want to speak for my dad, but he loves gay people. All right? Not great at it. Alternative lifestyle. Still going to talk about that one.
If you fellas need a dad, I'm a pretty good daddy.
Nope, Dad, no. Don't use that word.
So my last little thing is going to be a song that is, fortunately, does not have to do with my actual life, but is just like a really funny song that my roommate Cheyenne introduced me to, and it's very funny, and I have been like wanting an excuse to like sing it somewhere in public, and I think it's just very funny, and I hope that you agree with me on that front. The composer of this song is a guy named Jake Heggie. He writes a lot of like classical music, and he wrote an opera that I'm going to be singing this summer in San Francisco. But this song is called "The Other Woman." And please forgive my piano skills because I have not played piano in public since high school. I need to break this off. Our 6-month affair, our fling, our tryst, our liaison, our thing. boyfriend. And I'm feeling caught, nor because I want to be your boyfriend. That's a scary thought. It's just that you've crushed that feeling of trust in our tryst by adding another object of lust to your list. It used to be just your boyfriend or me. But recently I've learned you have your pick of your boyfriend, me, or Rick. The other woman. I'm not too happy in this role. The other woman. It never was a lifelong goal. I'm fine just being a slut. But won't be demoted to substitute slut. The other woman. I'm sorry, I can't make that leap. The other woman. I mean, there's cheap, and then there's cheap. I thought I could take it in stride, tried, but your entree comes with only one side. The other woman. I guess I'm just an old-fashioned guy. Oh, our arrangement was pretty nice, meeting every Saturday at 3. While your boyfriend was in therapy, probably dealing with issues of fidelity. And what arrangement do you have now? It must be some brilliant piece of shtick, some ingenious trick on the day or days when you get dick. Sorry, Rick. You can call me a fuddy-duddy, because I won't agree to play the understudy, especially since it's not for pay. So now it's time that you find another insignificant other, though this was blissfully illicit, and as much as you'll miss it, kiss it goodbye.
I think he already knows. So I think it's time to just come clean, okay? He'll be here soon. I called him. It's time. It's time.
Come on,
Am I on time?
You're perfectly on time.
Great.
It's 3 o'clock.
I need you,
Thank you.
You're gonna need that.
Okay, this wasn't what we planned on talking about today, but your mom and I have something to share with you. You know those Mortensen boys across the street? We're kind of, we've been parenting them as well.
Sometimes there's not enough love in one household. And when you live in a house like our house, which is full of so much love,
So much love,
we want to extend it.
right? It's just, we give you everything you can take, and then we still have more love to
Yeah.
give.
So much love.
So much love.
Well, it sounds like your mentors. Who cares? Big whoop.
Ooh.
I don't really like that word.
No. A mentor doesn't take 4 kids to Cedar Point and then buy them all fast passes. And then also all the popcorn and drinks, and you know, those are expensive, so adds up with those 4 boys.
Yeah, I mean, that's really nice. Like, they're young kids. I'm in college. I'm away from the house right now. Like, you have time to spend it. That's great. Good for them. Good for
We
you.
don't love you any
No,
less.
we love you so much.
So much. Oh, we're so proud of you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'd be mad to hear this?
I mean, this is kind of pulling the rug out for me a little. I thought you were going to kind of blow up.
That's why I made you your cameo team.
Yeah, calm you down. I mean, this is great that he's not just blowing up dramatically at us. That's
Super
not what
lead.
we, yeah,
Super
right?
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, that fight wouldn't have been real exciting or anything. No, this is
You wouldn't want to see your bedroom and what we've done to it.
I mean, or should we say the 5 of yours bedroom?
What did you do with my stuff?
I mean, you know, it's just, you know, Rick's and then Morton Boy 1, Morton Boy 2, Morton Boy 4. So you still got a 5th of the
I
room.
want to see my bedroom.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah. Let's just go around. Go. And ta-da!
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Oh, hey!
We just threw Teddy out the window.
Yeah, I saw you do that.
It's okay, we tied a rope around his neck. He'll come back up.
That's my cat that my parents are watching for me while I'm away at school until I can get my own apartment.
Hey guys, it's Big Bro.
Yeah! It's not like college!
Yeah, college boy. Did you like her?
Hey,
Mom
we're the
films
Mortensen.
everything we do.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? She
Oh.
loves us so
How are you
much.
feeling? How are you feeling?
Feeling really weirded out and mad.
All right, okay, what else about that? Really? Like, I mean, this is a big deal for your life that we've given up your childhood room.
You got rid of a lot of my stuff. My cat just got thrown out the window.
Dig deep, sweetie. Dig deep.
Whose car did you like better, Danny's or mine? Huh? Did you love my convertible? Did you show the car?
Oh yeah, we bought, they're 14, but we bought them all
We have
cars.
so many.
Oh my god.
I ride around on a horse because I'm interesting.
Are you
You got Grandpa's hand-me-down Cadillac, that's
Yeah.
what you got.
I showed him how to delete all your baby pictures off Google because they were running out of space.
Now
There are
that's
pictures.
true.
I'm the
Google
smart
doesn't run
ass.
out of space.
Is that true, kids?
Not if you have a personal account, only an enterprise account.
I'm getting the feeling that you're trying to like do something on purpose to make me upset here.
No. What? Why would you think that?
Well,
Why would you think that? Really think deep about what we've done to you over the years and why you would think that.
You can say it into the camera.
Yeah, you could just.
You got weird angles.
So my parents took my coming out really hard, and I guess being an only kid, they had a big problem with that. And so I just want the whole world to know that they probably illegally are doing things with neighbors' kids. They threw an animal out the window. They think it's super cool, and they're doing lots of things that are just vindictive in spirit. And
You know what? Cut it, honey. We're not looking great at this one.
Okay, so, what are we going to talk about this week? It's your 45 minutes.
I just thought I would come in here and say that.
Use our strong I statements.
I don't need therapy anymore.
Oh. Must be the first of the month and someone got a bill.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been seeing 3 therapists concurrently, and
So you're seeing 2 other therapists right at this moment?
Hey, yeah, I was conferenced in. This is Dr. Jared.
thank you, Dr. Jared.
Hi, I'm Eliza.
Thank you, Eliza.
Yes, you're fine.
Oh, I was pointing at the error in grammar, but apparently it's not.
Your secretary put on 2 phones and conferenced on
She's
it.
quite industrious, that little.
Yep.
You got a great secretary. We all talk about
Yeah,
it.
thank you. By the way, you don't think this is in any way violating multiple ethic rules from the APA?
That's your job to follow the ethics. I'm supposed to be a patient.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. Eliza, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, he signed a release for me. I've got him covered.
Yeah. So you guys can go ahead and say anything you want about me right in front of me.
Well,
And
technically, I'm the only one in front of you. Therefore, I will be billing triple.
I hear that passive aggressiveness you've been talking about.
Thank you. Don't start going to nice meetings, quack. Where'd you go to school, Haiti?
Harvard, actually?
he went to Harvard.
Oh, well, we all know how people get in there.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it still stings.
Dr. Jared, he's just smirking right now. Just smirking.
What's he wearing?
What does that have to do with anything?
What? I don't know. You communicate yourself to the world through your clothes.
I heard the profanity.
I was under my breath, thank you.
What?
Describe what I'm wearing.
He's wearing parachute pants with a shirt tucked into it.
1987 was the best year of my life.
He's got a blue Oxford shirt tucked into it, and one of the buttons on the lapel is missing.
You can't find these anywhere.
You know, if you need to schedule a session with me or Eliza, we both work with other therapists frequently.
You should do that. Eliza especially, she's really good.
We've put many people through the hammer time phase.
Why does this turn into a session about me?
Why do you think it turned into a...
Shut up!
Started as a session about it.
I know all these techniques. Jungian, Freudian, the new school.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up Freudian. I'm just saying Freudian usually means a certain thing to a certain type of
Yes,
person.
we've talked about dick, doctor.
Wow, you just went straight to dick, huh?
There it
You
is.
said Freud, you might as well have said big massive cock.
That is in your mouth, sir. You're the one that went to that.
Hey, what I do outside of professional... All right, listen. Why are you doing this? What do you want?
Let's use some...
No, I'm asking Rick.
You mean you didn't want to leave it right there with the cock in your mouth?
No, how much fun would that be?
I'm doing this so
Have you ever just put a cock in your mouth and left it there? Nobody does that.
Is this something you want to talk about?
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
Who, me or my therapist?
Presumably the person with just a big cock in his mouth doing
It
nothing.
wasn't fake. It was real, but nothing happened that made me humiliated. You know what it feels like to have someone fall asleep when their cock is in their... Why am I talking about this? This is my office. Why am I sharing my sexual foibles with you and you? So, if you're going to fall asleep in your head, that doesn't make me less of a human being.
I'm just unimpressed. When I found out that I had a gay therapist, I thought it'd be really cool. Thought it'd be interesting. You're the most boring gay person I know.
That's like saying, oh, you're a straight NASCAR driver, you must win all the time. That doesn't mean anything. Think about what I just said.
Let's just remember, everybody, you can't be the best at being gay, so...
Yep. I need a therapist who's the best at being gay.
Oh, well, good luck. If they were the best at being gay, they'd be in the arts. Is your entire party here already?
I think it's just a...
The special today is melon.
Just milk?
Melon.
Wow.
I'll give you a melon.
Sorry I'm late, honey. Oh.
Hi. Oh, Diane.
Didn't know Diane was...
I didn't realize Tracy was going to
My
be here.
close friend from work, Diane. Tracy? Diane?
Hi.
Hello, Tracy. I know exactly who you are. Close friend from work.
Friend from work.
Yeah.
Close friend.
Okay. You know, right. Okay.
And my roommate Tracy?
I know
My
your
roommate.
roommate.
We've been roommates since college.
Yeah.
It's 7 years.
7 years.
I just,
It's
I-
Roseanne Cash, it's a.
I
think Roseanne is music.
One of our, she's very passionate about music.
I love music. If you need me to give you a little space, I
No,
can.
this is actually.
I just didn't realize, I didn't realize that it was a group.
It's a group thing?
I mean,
I mean,
maybe I forgot.
it's a group thing.
Oh.
It's so attentive.
I see you didn't have your whole party here when you were seated. I hope
Monica.
you're gonna go through the specials on your own, because I'm not saying it. Don't do Monica me right now!
Monica.
You get these melons once in your life and that's it! We're through!
The special is,
Don't you say so, I thought you were gonna say it was me.
but the special
Do they know
is
you're?
you, baby.
I already got there for myself. You're taking my romantic line away from me.
By the way, do these people know that you're fucking both of them?
Giant round of applause for Michael Day, our come check out Michael in May in the opera The Great Surprise. That's right, it's an opera. Yes. That's at the DSO.
And it's at the Detroit Opera House.
That's it. Oh, they're the same thing to me. I know they're not. They're the Detroit Opera House.
But they're actually not the same.
Technically.
Totally different places. Geography.
Chris is wrong.
Thank you so much. Those were the shoots that we had for you this evening. We're going to take a short intermission, put out a sign-up sheet for the jam. Please consider sticking around if you want to try out some improv on your own. We take great care of people that have never done it before. It happens almost every week.
Some of the cast is going to be here to play too.
Yeah, if you fell in love with any of us, this is how you can, do it more.
It's like speed dating, but it's a game.
All right, thanks so much.